Hey everyone, Andy with RNA Landscaping. Today we got Brian here from Lawn Doctor. A lot of these, we get a lot of questions from you guys on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And so what I brought Brian on here for was I really wanted him to answer this question for you guys was, what's the best time, the best way to seed your lawn in the spring? So obviously it's, we get the best growth and the best possibility of growth. So I brought Brian on here because obviously me and Brian work together a lot on this stuff. He actually just seeded my lawn for us at our home. So looking great. So thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I figured what the advice from you is, what's the best way to do it? And then so we can, obviously people want a, green, thick lawn and obviously with no weeds. So what's the best way and kind of what are the expectations throughout the first year of, what they can kind of expect?
Okay, thanks for having me, Andy. And seeding lawn in the spring. I've done thousands of them over the years. Okay, but we need to know, we need to take the right steps in regards to doing that. So one, you don't want to seed too early. Everybody, wants to get their lawn seeded at springtime, but if we have frost, if we got freezing temperatures at night, that's going to affect the seed. When I like to start seeding, and when I strongly recommend you should seed, is when the soil temperature is appropriate. Okay, and I mean the grass is actively growing everywhere. So that way, when we seed the lawn for you, we plant it in the soil, and you immediately start watering. Days 7 through 10, the ryegrass starts coming in. Now, putting down a starter fertilizer would be essential, and fertilizing along the way to get that lawn established is important. Remember, you don't want to use any weed control. Zero crabgrass pre-emergent or preventative, because that will prevent the seed from germinating. But you don't want to use typically any weed control until you've mowed the lawn, the new grass, 2 to 3 times. So it's mature enough to be able to handle weed control. Now, this happens in Michigan on a regular basis, and I get calls from customers, so I try to explain it to them when we do spring seedings. It's common for you to follow all the directions perfect, which is watering 3 times a day, once the lawn's seeded, once in the morning for 10 to 15 minutes, once in the mid-afternoon, 12 to 1 o'clock for 10 to 15 minutes, and once in the evening. We're not worried about fungus issues with the evening waterings. We're worried about the top inch of topsoil. We need to keep the top inch of topsoil moist all the time. Now you have to observe. Everybody's lawn's different. Some areas may dry out faster than others. You might water your side lawn for 5 minutes a zone because it puddles up and holds moisture, whereas the front yard you have to water for 15 to 20 minutes because it dries out faster. So you need to monitor that and make sure if you keep the top of the topsoil moist, then you'll get good growth. The other thing is crabgrass. In I would say 95% of cases of new seeded lawns in the spring, crabgrass comes in the summer. Don't worry about it. The only mistake you can make is to stop watering it. I've had hundreds of lawns where my customers are following the proper instructions. The grass is coming in great. They're really happy. And then in July, they call me and say, it looks like I planted crabgrass in their yard. Because crabgrass has completely come in and taken over. I tell them, trust me, don't worry about it. The crabgrass can't handle cooler temperatures at night. So as soon as we get those 50-degree nights, the crabgrass goes away, and then the grass just flourishes. Your crabgrass is not going to block out your new grass from coming in. Okay, so keep in mind that's common. Weeds coming in, broadleaf weeds, crabgrass coming in with your new grass, no big deal. We can take care of that down the road. But just keep watering it appropriately and keep mowing it at a good length. Back to the mowing 3.5 inches. That's essential. Keep the grass long. Let it get more established and thicker.
That's a great point. So the other thing that we get to a lot is just the I'm sure you guys do too. Is like these people, hey, have like this spot and they want to like, obviously, hey, we want to reseed this area or whatever. But you're right. Like, I mean, I get a lot of this times where it's like, well, what's the last time you've done a crabgrass preventative, right? It's like,
Yep.
oh, we just, they just did it, 2 weeks ago. And it's like, then you have to tell the customer, obviously, that we can't do anything because now we got to wait, right?
Absolutely. Like crabgrass preventative, like I've said before, prevents grassy weeds, not just crabgrass. It prevents grassy weeds from germinating.
Yeah.
And how it does that is it prevents the crabgrass seeds from germinating. The unfortunate part for new homeowners is it also will prevent new grass seed from germinating.
Yeah.
So it's important that you do not put down crabgrass preventative. That's why, in my case, when I put in lawns for customers, I require my fertilizer program. I want to put my specific applications down as the lawn matures so that customer gets the lawn they want. I can't take a chance on, another company coming in and putting down their crabgrass preventative. I can't take a chance on the homeowner putting down a crabgrass preventative because that is going to affect the results of my seed. And so, yeah, I want, if you hire me to do it or whether you do it yourself, I want you to be happy with your lawn, especially if you're spending time with it.
So what? Okay, so let's say obviously this happens every season, but let's say I'm the one that obviously I want I got this bare spot in my lawn, and I wanted to call you and I want you to have to reseed it, but now I just tell you I put this crabgrass preventative down a week ago or 2 weeks ago. What is the time that we have to wait before now we can actually reseed the lawn?
Two options. One, 90 days. Is basically
3 months, and that's a long time.
Pre-emergence work.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I've done this with experimentation. I've done a lot of experimentation with all kinds of treatments over the years. Is either replacing the soil in that area or doing a good agitation to the soil. If you do a good agitation to the soil, I still see that you're able to get some germination, and it helps break that crabgrass barrier down. So I've seen that work. But going back to what we said, the best practice is to not put down the crabgrass pre-emergent in the first place. But like you just brought up, adding topsoil. Say for example, it's a low bare area, which typically bare areas erode, and they are lower. So you should feel comfortable, even if you put a crabgrass preventative down, that if you mix some seed and some soil and put that over top of that low bare area, you should still get adequate growth.
Perfect. Well, hey, I want to thank you, Brian, for obviously coming on today and just really answering these questions for everybody that's listening. Hopefully everybody that's listening, this really helps and answers this question. It's really, the best time, the best way to seed your lawn and just the best time to seed your lawn in the spring. So thanks again, Brian. We really appreciate it. And hopefully everybody this helps. If there's any other questions or comments that we can help you with, feel free to either comment Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, email us, and we can answer them for you. And if I don't know, we'll get Brian back on here and he can answer them for us. So thanks again, Brian. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, Andy.